Hey everyone, this is Andre here covering for Kevin on the Kevin Breeze channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Cubot C30. And it comes with a 6.4-inch LCD display with a resolution of 1080p. The PPI is 398, and the phone has an aspect ratio of 19.25 by 9. We have a hole punch up here for the front-facing camera, and this camera is 32 megapixels. This phone comes with 128 gigabytes of internal storage with micro SD card expansion. Start with their base models around 64 gigabytes, so this is definitely competitive as far as storage goes. To give you an idea of how much space is actually on the phone, I did download most of the apps I use on a daily basis, and it really only takes up 7% of the storage. So there's a great amount of storage for apps, music, photos, media, any kind of thing you would want to be putting on your phone. There's definitely going to be a lot of space for it. And of course, if you do run out of space, there's also the option to expand the memory with a micro SD card, so it's great there. Now, this phone does not come with wireless charging, unfortunately, but it does have a fingerprint scanner. Now, this fingerprint scanner is a little bit different from what you might be used to. I personally really like the placement of it. It is actually right here on the side under the power button. Let's give it a try now. And it's really fast. Let's try it one more time. Really nice. I like the placement of the fingerprint scanner because it's right under the power button that you'd be pressing to unlock the phone anyway, so it's really convenient to access. I honestly do wish more phones had this type of placement, so it's a really good thing that I can definitely appreciate. Now, as you can see here, the phone does also come with Face Unlock, which is really great because I know a lot of people like to use Face Unlock. It's really convenient and a fast way to unlock your phone, so if you like to use it, it is there for you. Now, taking a look at the camera setup, we do have a quad camera setup. Not exactly the most original design I've seen, but it does work. Here we have a 48 megapixel rear camera, a 16 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 5 megapixel macro camera, and a 0.3 megapixel photosensitive lens. And this is the photo mode of the camera. As you can see, there are several different options, a lot of different filters and variants you can use for the camera depending on the situation. And this is what the portrait mode looks like. You can get that blurred out background with this. And portrait mode also works for both the front and the rear camera. So let's try out the front camera now. And again, here's the portrait mode. It does look decent.
I'm generally very happy with the camera quality with the Cubot C30. Of course, the camera quality does not rival what you'd expect to get with a flagship smartphone, but that does make sense since this is a very affordable budget device. Now, when you get into situations where there's a lot of contrast or low light, then the cameras can struggle a bit, but when the lighting is really good, things do look good. But in general, from what you can see here, I will let the results speak for themselves. Now, video quality can be a little bit of a hit or miss. Now, as far as the microphone quality goes, that is perfectly good, so I'm happy about that. I like that there is autofocus in video mode. Sometimes you don't get that with budget smartphones, but it does seem to be lacking video stabilization. So unless you have a really steady arm, the videos are going to be a bit shaky. And here is a 1080p video using the main rear camera on the Cubot C30. We do have autofocus in video mode. The autofocus is actually pretty quick as well. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with a front-facing video at 1080p at 30 FPS with the Cubot C30. Let me know what you think of the video quality and also the microphone quality as well.
So here's a test of the video mode of the phone. We are shooting in 1080p at 30 frames per second. So as you can see, the video quality of this phone is very decent. It's capable of shooting up to 1080p at 30 frames per second, so definitely not bad. It can't shoot in 4K unfortunately, but the quality is still very good. One thing to point out about the audio is that the sound only comes from the bottom speaker and not the earpiece. So if I'm playing something and I cover up the speaker, you're not going to hear anything very well. It's not really a bad thing, but it would be nice if it did come out of both, although a lot of phones nowadays don't really have that feature, so it's not that big a deal. Now internally, we're getting 8GB of RAM with the MediaTek Helio P60 processor. So I did run the Geekbench 5 benchmark test on this phone. It has a single core score, as you can see, of 287 and a multi-core score of 1436. Now it's definitely not the fastest processor out there, but it's still going to be adequate for basic use such as texting, calling, browsing the web, doing a little bit of social media, taking some pictures, watching videos. But if you're doing some hardcore gaming or photo or video editing, or other kinds of apps that require a lot of processing power, then this might not be the phone for you. This phone has a 4200 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty good. You're going to get some good battery life out of this. Another cool feature about this phone is it actually does have NFC, so you can use Google Pay. Now that we've gone over the various specs of the phone, let's take a look at the hardware. So on this side here, we have the slot for the micro SD card and the SIM card, and then the volume up and volume down buttons. On the right side of the phone, we have our power button and our fingerprint scanner. On the bottom, we have a microphone, the USB-C charging port, and the speaker. Here on the back, of course, we have our camera setup. There's a Cubot logo right here at the bottom. This phone is made of very high quality, sturdy material. The back and sides are made of a frosted material that looks really nice, and fingerprints really don't show up all that much. Now let's take a look at what comes in the box. So in here we got a case, which is really nice. A lot of phones nowadays don't really come with cases. I would say it's a good temporary case until you get a more permanent one. We have a quick start guide right here. Here we have a SIM card removal tool, a USB-C charging cord, and a wall adapter. Now keep in mind, this is a European wall adapter. I'm not sure if other variants of the phone come with different adapters, but you might have to use your own. So in conclusion, I would definitely not say this is a bad phone at all. It has a lot of really nice features, and I really like the placement of the fingerprint scanner. Although the design of the phone isn't exactly original, it still is built very sturdily, and the materials are definitely decent quality. Despite not being able to shoot in 4K, the quality of the video is still very decent and the camera is still good. The MediaTek Helio P60 processor is definitely a good one. I don't really have any complaints about it. The only thing I would say is if you're doing more intensive photo or video editing, or if you're doing more gaming or apps that just generally take up a lot more processing power, then you might want to look at a higher level device because this processor might not be able to handle all of that. But if you're using this phone for more basic use like content consumption, social media browsing, and taking some pictures here and there, then this phone is definitely going to be able to handle that with no problem. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.